Justice League International number 8, written by Dan Jurgens, art by Aaron Lopresti. We left off last issue with the team being disbanded, and the Booster went up to the roof and was attacked by the guy who caused the explosion at the UN, and then Batwing shows up. So, yeah, this issue picks up 3 minutes ago with Batwing sitting in the hospital room with Vixen saying, "Hey, Vixen, we are such close friends. We knew each other for many, many years. I know that hasn't been established, but trust me, that's how it was. And I'm here due to things going on in my own book, but I'm here for you now, and I will protect you." And then they hear a boom on the ceiling, and he puts on his Batwing gear and goes up to help. And then we cut to now, and basically, it's just a fight between him and, what was his name? Lightweaver? And Lightweaver's like, okay, don't know who you are, and that's not part of the plan, so I'm going to make a tactical retreat, but while I do, I'm going to slash you a few times with my light projections. And Booster jumps in to try to help him out a little bit. And in doing so, he's losing a lot of energy, like he's barely on his feet right now. And he's holding off the light thing, but it drains all of his energy. And then he just... As he's like collapsed over the edge of like the balcony, Lightweaver flies away and he's like, "Oh, and as a parting gift," and he blasts Nightwing, which knocks him unconscious, and he starts plummeting off the building. So then Booster has to jump down after him, and he like catches him and lands on a car. So it's just a nice little heroic scene. Then we cut to across town. A guy's being escorted by police in an armored truck, and his name is Roland Norcutt, and he looks pretty evil. He's got like the Morpheus like circle glasses on, and basically he's an anarchist, like super duper anarchist. Any sort of government structure or police or even corporations, he wants to tear them all down, and he's willing to do whatever he has to do that. Meanwhile, all the guards who he's talking to in this armored truck are literally dying right in front of him as he's talking, because apparently he has the ability to reduce things down into their base form. So yeah, that's the thing. The truck crashes because, of course, everyone's dead. He steps out unharmed, and his name is Breakdown. So as he gets out of the truck, Lightweaver and a woman named Intersect pop up, and they're like, "Hey, Breakdown. Didn't think you were going to pull that trigger. It took you long enough." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, what's the deal?" And he explains the situation with Batwing, and then Breakdown asks Intersect, because Intersect's ability is to apparently just put in disinformation, just like control the radio waves, but specifically to spread lies or something like that. Regardless, they talk about some wild card who they maneuvered into position. So whatever that is. So then we cut back to Booster and Batwing. Batman comes in as well, and Booster's like, "I don't like the bold and brash type. They rush into danger. We need to think out of a plan first." And Batman's like, "Well, I vouch for him." And he's like, "Okay, I guess he's fine then. Still don't like him." So anyway, they do some data thing on Booster's stuff, and they see Roland, and they're like, "Hey, so that was the guy who's actually been behind like everything, like all of the UN bombings that we stopped, and like setting fire to the Hall of Justice and all that, like all that stuff is this guy, Roland Norcutt, and he just escaped after killing those police officers, so we got to go find him, and he's probably a metahuman." And so Booster's like, "Okay, well, there's probably a bigger goal out there than just a little bit of light anarchy, so let's go ahead and figure out what we're doing here. We got to go find this guy, regardless of if we're members of a Justice League or not." So then we cut inside the hospital, where basically everyone's coming to the conclusion that as long as the heroes are there, bad guys are going to keep targeting it, so they need to get at least all the conscious heroes to leave. Guy Gardner is sitting there next to Ice, saying like, "Hey, baby, I'm here for you. I'd take the pain if I could." And he's like, "Yeah, I know, Guy. Thank you." So, yeah, they're being chewed out by some director of the hospital. And as they're like, "Look, we're going to stay here because we're heroes and we can protect you." And then the chairwoman from the UN shows up and is just like, "Yeah, well, you're not actually anymore, because if you do any more super heroics, not only are you not part of the UN team, but I will use the full power of the UN press kit to slander your names and bury you in bad press." Mwahaha. So yeah, they have to stop heroing or whatever. And they sit there and try to figure out what they're going to do. And they're like, look, maybe we are kind of magnets for like bad guys coming to attack. Maybe we should leave and let our friends recover in peace. Maybe we should also go help Booster because he probably just like is going to do something about this now. Maybe we should go deal with whatever. But as they're about to do that, OMAC shows up. Go check out OMAC. Issue number 8 released the same week as this, and he just shows up and he's like, I am OMAC. And everyone's just like, okay, so you're a big guy who's destroying. I'm sure you also attacked the UN in some way. And OMAC's like, no, I just want a doctor. And meanwhile, he's still throwing stuff and like attacking people. And once the 3 Leaguers are all down on the ground, he's like, if you move, you will die. And that's where we leave off. OMAC crossover. Except it's not a crossover because issue number 8 that came out this week was actually the final issue. So I think this is meant to take place after that. Hard to tell. So yeah, this was fine. It was good. Sets up a few things. Sets up the new characters of Intersect and Breakdown, which I am going to forget. Overall, it's just more or less an average issue. It doesn't feel anything too magnificent. I do like the page of Breakdown's like manifesto of him just going through it, because it's one of those things where nothing he's saying sounds particularly like bad. It sounds like, it's one of those villains who has like good morals or whatever, but at the same time he's killing people at the exact same time. So it's like, oh, okay, so he's a bad guy, but maybe not like a bad guy. I don't know. So yeah, it's like a 6.5. It's good. It's fine. It just feels like it's still a little bit scattershot on like what it wants to do. And I am really sick of the chairwoman coming in being like, you guys can't be superheroes anymore because you're not going to work for me. So stop. This plot is done. Everyone's made their decision. Just stop with that plot now. So yeah, 6.5 for this. Definitely looking to see how the OMAC thing works out because he is on the cover of the trade. So he's around for a while at least.